Yo, it's actually been a while. What's going on, everyone? It's Jack here from Nothing But Tech. Hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm doing one of your favorite types of videos, I think, a camera comparison. So I want to compare the OnePlus 6's photos to the iPhone 10's photos, but there's a bit of a caveat here. So my good friend Marquez Brownlee did a blind test, which is basically a comparison where you don't tell the viewers which photo is which until the end, so you can get like an unbiased opinion. So I want to do the same thing. I'm going to show you both photos, but one of the phones is going to be called A, and one of them is going to be called B. And then at the end, I'm going to say which is which. But wait until the end, judge the images without knowing which one's which, so you can actually see which you prefer without your bias. Maybe leave a comment which one you like better, and then at the end, and actually wait towards the end, don't ruin the fun, you're going to be able to see which one is which and which one you actually preferred. So that was a lot of which in one sentence. But let's get right into it. Okay, so I just want to say I'm going to be commenting on differences that I notice. I'm not going to be saying which one I like better because I don't want to influence you guys, but I'm just going to like kind of be saying what I see, and then you can kind of go from there. Alright, so starting out with this first one, I took this one to kind of see contrast. So I think that they actually both look really good. The sharpness on both of these is actually really good. If I zoom in on both of them, it's pretty actually impressive on both. There are differences in the like megapixels and sharpness a little bit once you really zoom in. And also, the iPhone 10 has an optical zoom, whereas the OnePlus 6 uses digital zoom. But overall, like, they both actually look really, really sharp. And the contrast, both phones actually handled it really well. Okay, so heading over to this next photo, you can see that image B, it looks like really highlighted and like really shiny on this car. Whereas image A looks a little bit more contrasty to me. Both look pretty good. Alright, so pause it if you need to, but we're moving on. Alright, so this next photo that I took, I used the 2x zoom feature on both of these phones to kind of show you maybe sharpness differences between actually having a physical lens that's closer versus just like digitally doing it. So I'm not going to say which one's which, but maybe you can tell the difference. And once I reveal it at the end, you can go back and kind of see. Overall, though, they both look pretty sharp. I would say image B, the blacks look a little bit deeper to me, but both these images look pretty good. Pause it if you need to. Next image. Okay, this next image of a pair of iridescent shoes in indoor lighting conditions, the lighting was not great in here. It looks pretty good. I would say camera A tends to kind of saturate and go towards maybe the oranger side, whereas I feel like image B might look a little bit more true to life. It's a personal preference thing, but you definitely see this like in low light. Camera A will really, really get in those orange hues, especially in video mode. You really, really see it. But both these look pretty good. I see the exposure on image B maybe looks like slightly overexposed, but solid. Pause it if you need to. You guys know the routine by now. Next image. The next two images that I took, one of them is just regular, and then one of them I use a depth effect to kind of compare that. So in this regular image, they actually both do a really, really good job of exposing the sky and me, so the dynamic range from both these cameras is really, really good. You can see that image A maybe is a little bit more contrasty in terms of like the shadow on the floor. But they both look really good. Skin tones look pretty good as well. And it was like windy, and it was really, really harsh lighting at the time, and it didn't make so many shadows. Like, it looks really good, actually. I'm impressed with both these. The bokeh mode, like the depth effect, really impressed me, though. Okay, so the really cool thing about these photos, and I actually posted one of them on my Instagram, I was just so in love with it, is the dynamic range, like in the background, like the sky just looks so blue, but it still exposes for me. So you could see also edge detection on both these is really good. I think that maybe A is like does a little bit of better job with edge detection. On image B, it kind of messes up my hair a little bit, but both these actually look so good, and blur and depth effect is really advanced on smartphones. Overall, both these images are really, really impressive. Okay, in this next image, it's pretty clear that they have kind of differences in color tones. So image A is a little bit maybe not overexposed, but it has more like of a brightness to it, whereas I feel like image B is a little bit more contrasty. If you look at like the leaves, they look a lot darker. It kind of loses some detail in the leaves almost in the background, whereas image A definitely preserves it. Additionally, they both are really, really saturated, so this was actually a very accurate depiction of the red seen on the sign. And then in terms of sharpness, when you punch in, both look really, really good. Switching over to that selfie camera, and selfie cameras definitely distort features, makes like all your features look a little bit bigger. They're not really flattering cameras, notoriously, but it's actually a little nicer when you have a wider angle lens, because then it kind of maybe doesn't accentuate all your features, but both these actually produce a pretty nice selfie. Image A, the skin looks a little bit softer on, whereas image B, it kind of looks more realistic. I don't know which one's more flattering, but that's kind of my take on it. Skin tones look really similar. Like sometimes in the iPhone 10 versus S9 comparison, the skin tones were like so drastically different, but between the OnePlus 6 and the iPhone 10, they're not that different. So they look pretty similar here. Both look pretty good. I'd be happy with either of these. Alright, the second to last image of this test of these meters is kind of an interesting one because the sun was coming in from the back. So image A kind of gives like a faded look where like the sun kind of overtakes the image, whereas image B definitely keeps the contrast in the meters. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but the dynamic range on both these cameras is really good. Image B maybe has a little bit better in the background. Again, it's like personal preference. I don't want to like filter or change your opinion based on what I'm saying. I'm just trying to like tell you guys what I think of these images, but both of them are pretty good. But let's move over to our last image. So the last one we're going to look at is this indoor shot, and I thought this was interesting because, as I already said, camera A tends to add more orange tones in low light, and that's prevalent again. Both these, though, like in low light, they actually look pretty sharp. The shirt is funny, so that's an added bonus, but both these photos actually look really, really nice. Alright, so that was our last image, but I did actually take some videos, so we're just going to roll that quickly before the end. Okay, so this is first test of this camera. Looking at it like through the viewfinder, it looks like it's a bit tight. The colors look pretty good. It's also really, really bright out, so there are going to be like some harsh shadows, contrast. But this is the first camera that I'm testing this on. Okay, this is the next camera. It looks a bit wider. I'm holding all of these at like full arm's distance away. Colors look pretty good. Again, contrast is, you can see like in the back the shadows and stuff, but this looks pretty good. Let me know what you think of them down below. So, in terms of the videos, I think that camera A is a little bit closer and it also shows a lot of details on the face, almost like too much details. Whereas camera B is a little bit further away, and it also looks a little bit more stable to me. It doesn't show as many details. I don't know if, like, that's not actually good that it doesn't show that many details, but it's a bit more flattering. So that's kind of what I thought of that. They both did really well with exposure throughout the frame, though. Okay, so that's it. You see all the images, you saw a front-facing video. What do you think? Alright, I'm gonna give you a sec. Comment it down below. You good? Good. This is a big reveal. Camera A was the OnePlus 6. Camera B was the iPhone 10. So, is that surprising? I don't know, but it should be, because the OnePlus 6 is like $549 and the iPhone 10 is like $1,000. And that's a really big price difference for not a big difference in image quality. Like, I know that the iPhone 10 is now 6 months old, so maybe the whatever the next iPhone is will be like a lot better, but right now it's a pretty good deal. Like, colors are really good. You can see that the OnePlus 6 tends to go with a more orange hue and low light, and video is not as good, selfies are not as good. It's not as good camera in a lot of this in a lot of the tests, in my opinion, but in a lot of tests it looks pretty good as well. If not as good, it looks better in some images. So I was really, really surprised with this comparison. Let me know if you were as well. I appreciate you guys all checking out this quick one. I know I haven't posted a lot. I'm sorry. There's a lot of videos coming, though. We got Building My Ultimate Setup coming back in the next couple weeks. I know you guys love that. We got another huge announcement that you guys are really going to want to stay tuned for. It should be within the next week or two. And then following that, another really big announcement. So stay tuned. I have a lot of awesome stuff coming for you guys. But we got a lot of really awesome stuff in the works that I can't share just yet, but I will be able to soon. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all the support. We just hit 46,000 subscribers, so thank you for that as well. Check out my other content right here, subscribe right here, and maybe turn on that bell because a lot of you guys haven't been getting notified. What's with that? So that's for another video. But thank you guys all so much for watching this video, and I hope to catch you guys on the next one. Bye!